Hey, what's up, guys? Today, I just saw that we're getting some changes to many cards. Well, not many, but quite a few cards coming up in the next patch in Hearthstone. Some of these I'm a little bit concerned about, so let's go over them real quick. So, Ancient of Lore. This is a pretty powerful card. 7 cost for a 5/5. Draw 2 cards or restore 5 health. Usually people take draw 2 cards. Drawing is so important, but when you also get a nice 5/5 body, it's pretty nice. However, they're nerfing it to where you draw 1 card or restore 5 health. So you basically might as well run Azure Drake, which is a 5 cost, 4/4, and you draw 1 card, and you get 1 spell power. That card easily replaces this. A nerf, or well, not really a nerf, but a change I would have liked to have seen is make it a 7 cost, 7/6 maybe. Draw 1 card. Try to just make it more balanced, because 7 cost for a 5/5 draw 1 card it doesn't sound that appealing. Maybe in arena it could be okay, but I'm a little bit worried about that change. And then now Force of Nature into Savage War. This needed a nerf. I'm completely for this one. The idea of just playing 2 cards and doing 14 damage to face, or sorry, 12 damage to face, it's pretty rough. However, they are really making it bad. 5 cost to summon 3 2/2 Trents. Now, I mean, they don't die after after the turns. That's cool, but I once again don't really see this being played and constructed. Now in arena, this can probably be useful, but yeah, a little bit bummed about that. And then Keeper of the Grove. I understand this one. 4 cost, 4/2/4, deal 2 damage or silence a minion. This is a really versatile card. Usually it's used for the silence, but the 2 damage is pretty useful too. And it's a fairly meaty card, 4 health. So they're driving it down to a 2/2. I think it's still a good card. I'm okay with that nerf. And that's it for Druid. For some reason they have these 2 neutral cards here with the class cards. But we have Iron Beak Owl. I really think this needed a nerf. 3 cost, 4/2/1 silence is still really good. This will still be used in a lot of decks. I don't have anything else to say to that. Now, Big Game Hunter, I think this needed a bigger nerf. I do not like Big Game Hunter. It really messes up the meta in terms of limiting what you could play. A lot of the big legendary cards people don't even want to use because of the fear of a Big Game Hunter. The fact that it's a 3 cost for a 4/2 is already pretty dang good. It's not bad. But just completely outright destroy minions with 7 attack or more is really rough. And so all they did was increase the mana cost to 5. I mean, that's a pretty big mana cost increase, but it doesn't erase the problem. We got Whispers of the Old Gods coming in, and if you haven't seen the cards, there's a lot of big cards. Like, one of the decks is involved around just buffing up your Sithun. The whole deck literally revolves around giving it more attack. No matter where it's at in your deck, you can still buff it up. Well, what's a funny thing you can do? Well, hold on to a Big Game Hunter if you happen to notice you're versing an opponent playing cards that buffs up Sithun. Oh, well, I'm just going to hold on to this and play this 5 cost card and completely wipe out the entire thing your deck is built around. I think a change that should have been made was leave it at 3 mana and deal 5 damage to a minion with an attack 7 or more, or something along those lines. I think that would have been a better change. This card is not good for the meta of the coming of Whispers of the Old Gods, in my opinion. But we'll see how it plays out. Hunter's Mark, this change really isn't even noticeable. I mean, 0 mana to change a minion's health to 1, that's a pretty big deal. It probably was a little overpowered. So 1 cost, it's still a really good card. Blade Flurry, I'm not really happy about this one. I really don't even play rogue decks that much, but this is going to really hurt Malygos rogue decks. So normally you could pay 2 mana, destroy your weapon, and deal that damage to all the enemies, including your opponent. And like if you had Malygos out, plus extra spell damage applies to all of that hit, or everything that gets hit. Now they are doubling the mana cost and making it where the damage is only done to enemy minions. Honestly, I feel like just changing the effect to damage enemy minions alone is enough to leave it at a 2 cost mana. This card is actually kind of crappy now. So Rogue Malygos decks are really going to be hurting from that. I feel like that was a way too big of a nerf. The whole point of these nerfs, they're trying to make these cards that are used in a lot of these class decks to be used a little less and use other cards in their place. The downside, the way they're going about this is they're nerfing cards into the ground so hard, but they're not buffing up crappier cards. So there's nothing to really fill the gap. They're potentially destroying deck archetypes and not giving room to create new ones. Now, yes, we do have a bunch of new cards about to come out, though, so it's not that big of a deal. But, I mean, this is a huge nerf. This card is really going to probably get played now. Now, okay, Knife Juggler. This one needed a nerf. 2 mana cost for a 3/2. It's a pretty decent card, but its effect is amazing, especially in like Zoo Locks, Face Hunters, you name it. And so they lower the attack down to 2. It's still a really good card. Leper Gnome, yeah, this one needed a nerf. It was a 1 cost for a 2/1, and then when it dies, it does 2 to the face. Pretty impressive in a Face Hunter deck. It's still pretty decent for, 1 cost, deal 2 damage to enemy player when it dies, but I wish they would have switched it around where it becomes a 1/2 instead of a 2/1. I think that would have been a better nerf, because now it's like, I don't know how I feel about it. Now, Arcane Golem, this... First off, let me ask you, as a viewer, how often do you run into an Arcane Golem? How often do you see these? Maybe when you're versing a Face Hunter deck? That's usually the only time you see them. Now, sometimes there's some uncommon decks that you don't see too often. Some rush decks, like I think I saw a Rogue Rush deck and a Warrior Rush deck that ran these. But that was maybe like once out of like 60 games. This is a silly nerf. I can't get over this nerf. So the fact that it's a 3 cost and a 4/2, but you give your opponent a mana crystal, and it has charge, but you give your opponent a mana crystal, that's really huge. That is a big deal. Helping the enemy ramp up. I don't think his card was that overpowered, to be honest. Maybe lower it down to a... I don't even know. But the nerf they're doing is ridiculous. So let's pretend it does not even have this battle cry over here. Let's pretend it's a 3 cost for a 4/4. Would you put that in your constructed deck? It has no type. It's not a mech, or anything like a pirate or beast, anything to synergize. It's nothing. 3 cost for a 4/4? No. You wouldn't run that. You would not run that. Maybe in Arena, if the other 2 options were pretty bad, you might run it. But now it also still gives them a mana crystal. What are they thinking? Are they intentionally trying to make their cards so crappy that you might as well disenchant them? By the way, this one you should disenchant. Unless you want to make a deck designed around losing really fast. In which case, I recommend you run Rogue, get Gang Up, and just get a bunch of Arcane Golems. You're good to go. You're going to lose really fast. This nerf is ridiculous. 3 cost 4/4, give your opponent a mana crystal. What the heck? Anyways, that is not how you go about nerfing cards. That's just silly. Okay, now Molten Giant. I don't hardly ever see this card anymore. I rarely see Molten Giant. I was surprised to see it on this list. To me, I don't think it was overpowered at all. I don't run Molten Giant, but I never got pain, like, oh my god, Molten Giant, freak out. It's not that big of a deal. Now I'm making it cost 5 more mana. That's quite a bit. That's a silly nerf too in my book. I don't understand. And then the last one here, Master of Disguise. In Constructed, I don't think I ever run into this card. It's not a bad card. It's a pretty good card. 4 cost for a 4/4. Give a minion stealth. Not bad. In Arena, yeah, it's actually a really good card. Especially if you get the Shaded Axe Rammus after you already break stealth. You can re-stealth it. But now they're making it where stealth only lasts 1 turn. That's not a big nerf. It's not a big deal. It's just weird. It surprised me to see it on this list. But anyway, so that's all the cards that are changed. There's a few of them where they just made such big nerfs that it's ridiculous. I'm still really shocked when I look at this Arcane Golem. You don't see it that much. Now they make it where you've got to be an idiot. Like, you've got to be really stupid or purposely trying to lose to run this card. Why do they want to make cards useless? I don't understand. But anyways, so that's all I got. Alright guys, thanks for watching.